Welcome to class 7 students. This is the continuation part of the chapter allergy. This is the last part of the chapter, and in my previous video I have discussed with you 4 common types of allergies, their causes, their symptoms. Okay, so where there are many symptoms like 7-8 symptoms, from those you read 4 or 5, but some allergies have only 2 or 3 symptoms written in the book. So in that case you will have to learn all the symptoms. Okay, so I have discussed with you till eczema, which is a very common skin allergy. I hope you have understood till eczema. Let's continue with the next type of allergy, number 5, insect bite allergy. Insect bite allergy. So insects, obviously it's very common that insects bite. Some people develop allergy from those bites because when insects bite they insert some chemical when they sting. Okay, so it is very common that they will bite, and obviously they will leave some chemicals when they bite, when they sting. But some people have allergy to those chemicals, some people can tolerate those chemicals and do not show any allergic reactions, but many people, a lot of people show allergy from insect bite. Okay, insects inject certain chemical or insect venom in our blood when they bite or sting. These substances may act as allergens. What are the symptoms of insect bite allergy? Pain in the area of the sting. So suppose in my area, in my hand here, an insect has bit me, and I will have, what are the common symptoms? More common symptoms are, I will have pain in this area where the insect has stung me. Next, redness or rashes. I will see redness or rashes in this area. Swelling beyond the area of the sting. So beyond this area means surrounding a larger area of where it has stung, swelling has taken place, and also itching is a very big symptom of insect bite allergy. Okay, so these are the symptoms of insect bite allergy. No other cause, you don't have to learn any particular cause or separately any cause, because insect bite allergy, the cause is obviously the insect is biting, that is the cause. Okay, next one is the asthma. This is our last one, and this is the most detailed one. Asthma is the most detailed type of allergy where you get more details to learn about than the other allergies. Okay, so let's read from the book. Asthma is a long-term lung disease in which the air passage in the lungs swells and narrows down. So suppose this is the air, this is the diameter of the air passage of our lung. Okay, and due to the deposition of the mucus, see, the skin that lines the air passage swells and mucus oozes from it. So if the skin is swelling, what is happening, and mucus is depositing within the inside layer, right, and as a result what is happening, the pathway is becoming narrower, and this is causing, this narrowing down of the pathway is causing difficulty in breathing. Okay, so it's a long term lung disease in which the air passage in the lungs swells and narrows down. The skin that lines the air passage swells, the skin also swells, and it oozes mucus, means it gives out mucus. As a result, the person has difficulty in breathing. Obviously the person will have difficulty in breathing. A kind of whistling sound, which is known as wheezing, you all know what is wheezing, is produced while breathing. So I told you during online class also that while you all were kids, or while other kids are there, when they catch a cold and they are suffering from cough and cold, and if there is much cough, means cough deposited in their chest, then they will not be able to breathe properly, because the lungs, the trachea, they are not able to give out the air smoothly. As a result, that whistling sound, which is known as wheezing, is heard. Okay, what are the causes? Can be passed on from parents to children. So asthma can be genetic, it can be hereditary. If anyone in the family has got asthma, it is not unlikely that in the later generations any one of the grandchildren or their grandchildren will have asthma. So it may be in the genes. Certain respiratory infections, so if there is infection within the respiratory parts like the lungs or the trachea or the bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, if there is any infection in those areas, in that case that might also cause asthma. Contact with airborne allergens such as tobacco smoke, pollen grains, chemicals, dust mites or some food substances, they may also cause asthma, because asthma is basically difficulty in breathing, excessive difficulty in breathing. So these airborne allergens which cause narrowing down of the lungs and makes mucus, deposition of mucus within the walls, they may also cause asthma. Okay, cough and cold can also cause asthma, means we see that people who are suffering from excessive cough and cold, they are also having difficulty in breathing, right? Now after causes, we are done with causes. I hope you have understood them. We come to symptoms. Persistent coughing that worsens at night or early in the morning. Persistent means continuous coughing which is worse at the night or in the early morning. Wheezing while breathing, tightness of chest that may feel as if someone is squeezing the chest, shortness of breath or difficulty in breathing. These are the symptoms. You will have to learn all the symptoms. Okay. Next, diagnosis. It can be diagnosed with the help of certain tests such as lung function test. In short, you might know this test is given by the doctors, LFT, it is the lung function test, allergy test and also X-ray of the chest. These are the diagnostic methods of means finding if a person has asthma or not. Next, prevention and control. A person suffering from asthma should know about the allergens causing asthma. So if dust is causing asthma or if the pollen grains are causing asthma, a person should know what to avoid in order to prevent those asthma type conditions. Okay, so knowing about the allergens and avoiding them is the most important method of prevention. Next, medicines should be taken after consultation with a doctor. Hygienic and healthy lifestyle should be maintained. Regular checkups for asthma should be done. So even if the asthma means the breathing trouble is in control, one who has a tendency to suffer from asthma, they should get regularly checked up by a doctor to check up whether the condition is in control, actually in control or not. Okay. Lastly, we come to the treatment. So if a person who is already asthma patient, what type of treatments should be given to that person? Generally, two types of drugs are prescribed to asthma patients. One is the bronchodilator. I told you during this class also what is bronchodilator. The word dilator means to increase, to dilate. Okay, and broncho is of the bronchi, bronchioles of the lungs. Okay, so a medicine, it is a medicine which will dilate the bronchi and the bronchioles, and as a result breathing will be easier, and steroid. Okay, so these are the medicines, two types of drugs that are given to asthmatic patient. Many asthmatic patients carry an inhaler with them. Steroids act by reducing the degree of inflammation of the bronchioles. Okay, so with this we end our chapter. You will have to learn asthma, everything that is given under asthma, all the details very well. This chapter is quite easy, and it is easy to score also from if you answer questions from this chapter, because you will have to write everything in points, the symptoms, the causes, everything in points. If you write correctly, you will get full marks. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you all. Thank you.